our Guru, and I would again bring it to the uh, forum that I have been trained or given good environment by my mother and my Guru, Sri Nirbhayananji Saraswati, and inducted into Bhagavad Gita classes by Chinmaya Mission. Swami Chinmayananji has been again a great influencer. So thanking them all and all of you who have given me a chance to opportunity to share my views, because of these sessions I will be learning, because I come when I have to come prepared, I go through some information and that really adds a lot of knowledge to me. So thank you all. So with that we come to Bhagavad Purana Skanda 4. Skanda 4, chapter 29. Actually, we were in chapter 29. If you remember, in the previous session, we talked about Puranjana, story of Puranjana. Puranjana is it's a hypothetical. It's a story which Narada describes to Prachina Barhi. Prachina Barhi is one of the descendant of Dhruva. We have seen Swayambhu Manu, Uttanapada, and then Dhruva, and from then on different generations. And one of them, because in between we had Angaraja, then Vena, who was not good, and then came this Prachina Barhi, third generation. After uh, Angaraja, it was a fourth generation, great grandson of Angaraja. He was Prachina Barhi, very, very pious person. And he used to do a lot of rituals, under Vedic rituals. He used to do so many yajnas. Those days, yajna was considered homa, yajna, Vedic rituals. He was a king, so he used to perform lot of rituals, and he had converted acres of land for darbha. Darbha is a grass which is used for all these worship and ritualistic procedures. Apart from that, the requirement was that they had to sacrifice animals for these rituals. So what happens is, and this is how he leads, as a king. Then what happens is, after that, he has 10 sons called Prachetas. All of them, they form a group. Very interestingly, they form, all are similar. They have not described whether lookalikes or what. But 10 sons, they used to move together, like this Kumaras, no? These together they were called Prachetas. Prachetas. They were also told to do a lot of penance and improve the progeny. So we have seen, so these Prachetas, they go in search of a place to do their penance. They meet Shiva on the way, and Shiva teaches them what is called Rudra Gita, and they continue. For 10,000 years, they do that tapascharya. And here, Prachina Barhi, he is doing lot of rituals. Rituals. He is very fond of performing yajnas. And as I told, yajnas involve lot of expenditure. Yajna was considered sacred because it will bring prosperity to the state and nation. That's okay. But Narada comes there and he tells him, why are you doing so many yajnas? Because yajnas means sacrifice of animals. You are a kshatriya. You can slaughter and have non-vegetarian, or you can eat meat. But even then, you are not supposed to eat and make it a habit. You are supposed to eat only when it is required. Minimalized eating. Minimal consumption of non-vegetarian food is what Narada says. And so when you slaughter such animals and keep on doing such sacrifices, they suffer as they die. They create so much of negativity and so much of, they will, that suffering will create a very bad impact on you. You are going to suffer. So and also without understanding what you are doing, without the knowledge, you are not supposed to do. So saying, he advises, then he says, tell me, Narada, in what way I can improve. So Narada tells him the story of Puranjana. Puranjana, we have discussed, I will not repeat, but it is a hypothetical story where he says that Puranjana is a man who goes in search of a city, and he finds a beautiful city which has got 9 gates, which has got a serpent with 5 heads. There's a beautiful woman called Puranjani. He gets married to her. He goes with his friend, but he forgets that friend. And then he moves here and there. He goes out for hunting. He brings lot of animals and sacrifices, eats those, enjoys the pleasure. And then one day he dies, and he loves his wife so much that as he dies, he suffers, and he will die remembering his wife. After that, his wife also dies. She remembers him. Then they are again reborn. And then again in the next birth, Malayadwaja is born as a she is born as a king, he is born as a queen. Again, they unite, but in the end, he becomes totally a kind of spiritual person. At that point of time, he remembers God who was with him always. And then that person, when he goes within, because then now he's born as a lady. So when the husband dies, this lady also wants to sacrifice as sati. At that point of time, some inner voice comes to him, and then he realizes that he lived with a friend, and then there is a conversation. So the whole story of Puranjana was to describe the human life. What we do, we take birth. What takes birth in this body? It is a jivatman with, that is a jiva with the subtle body. Today we are going to discuss that. Sukshma Sharira, subtle body. The jivatma is nothing but, the atma with the jiva is nothing but jivatma with subtle body. It gains access into a newborn. And then it continues. So today's discussion, Narada continues. He says, what is the meaning of that Puranjana? It is nothing but the body. The 9 gates are 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 1 mouth, 2 ears, the anus, and the um, uh, genital organ. So opening. So like that, there are 9 gates to this body, and this Jivatman lives in that. But it is in close. Jivatman means it is close associates Paramatman. Paramatman exists as Jivatman with the all those gunas. So, because it gets involved in those gunas, it forgets that there is something called Jivatman. You can take it as soul and super soul. Athwa two birds. Two birds andre Jivatman trapped without understanding that it is so much the Sachidananda Swarupa, but I mean, it's a what I should say, the infinite consciousness, but it will forget. It will get involved. So that is how this Puranjana behaves. And now, once in the end, when he realizes that there is a friend inside and he is nothing but the ever bliss consciousness, then he comes to know that all the while I was in an illusion. I was trapped. And then he will get the real knowledge. So he describes that. Now Narada continues. So he says, how does we continue that? How does what happens is, the story of Puranjana continues. What are the enemies? He enters that Puranjana, enters that body, those 9 gates. He becomes externally immersed in the worldly affairs because always he wants to go out, externalization, and he will realize only later. But why does this happen? Narada continues. So he says, when the jiva is, as I said, jivatman with this sukshma sharira. That means there's a combination. That's it's a package. You can say jivatman, pure consciousness with the linga sharira. So that jivatman, that linga sharira pulls it. Atman does not manifest because this mind, the linga sharira, which enters, the jiva, you can call it as a jiva, which enters into this body, it forgets that there is Atman. Rather, it goes into externally and becomes one with the gunas of Prakriti. Gunas of Prakriti, and becomes attached to them. What are these gunas? These gunas are our swabhava or our personality. And we become attached. ಹೌದಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಹಿಂಗೆ, ನಾನು ಹಂಗೆ, ನನ್ಗಿಷ್ಟ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್. ದೇವ್ರ ಅನ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ರು ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೆಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸಾತ್ವಿಕ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಮೋರ್ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್. ದೇವ್ರ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆ ಗತಿನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಐ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಇನ್ ಗಾಡ್ ಕಾನ್ಶಿಯಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋರು ಸಾತ್ವಿಕ್ ಮಂದಿ. And these people are not bad, but they have a worldly tinge into that. So those are Rajasic people. And totally ignorant, passionate, not concerned about future, that is Tamasic. All our actions, whatever we do, belong to these categories. So Jiva becomes attached to this tendency. ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೋಗೋದು ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತದೆ ಅದು. Just understand the dynamics. We will relate with Bhagavad Gita also today. So it becomes involved in either of these three, or sometimes here, sometimes here. But majorly ಒಬ್ಬರದು ಸ್ವಭಾವ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ either predominantly sattvic, predominantly mix ಇರ್ತದೆ. But something is major in them. You can make out. So that actions, no, they perform the actions in this manner, and then what happens is, so because of these, no, they that decides how they take birth in future, or how their current life also moves. For example, a sattvic person's life, they say, on the actions of sattvika. Actions ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Their thoughts, their words, and their activities. All the three constitute karma. ಸಾತ್ವಿಕ ಕರ್ಮ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಅವನು ಇಷ್ಟು ಸಾತ್ವಿಕ ಆಗ್ತಾನಂದ್ರೆ, when he dies and takes birth next, in the next birth, or when he is there in between the two births also, he enjoys that peaceful nature. He is pure. When he takes birth in the human form again, he will have lot of challenges ante. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸವಾಲ್ಗಳು ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಕಷ್ಟಗಳು ಇರ್ತದೆ. They are called challenges. They no longer take them as suffering. They don't suffer. I hope you all understand. The same thing when it comes to Rajasic. Rajasic andreno, they are all performing actions. What are these Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic actions? The Krishna very beautifully he has explained in Bhagavad Gita. Just 1 minute. So Sattvic action andreno, that which is without attachment. Without attachment andre, you should not be attached to person, place, or thing. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಸಿಬಲ್ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು. ಹಿಂಗೆ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿಲ್ಲ. No likes and dislikes. It's okay. Today I have got some mattress to sleep, I will sleep. Tomorrow I will get a chape or a mat, I will sleep. I'm okay. As long as it's not too bad, it's not harming or something. Ange. Without love or hatred, treating everybody equally, and non-desirous of fruits of action. My job is to do karma yoga, basically. So sattvic people perform actions with the yoga buddhi. These are yoga buddhi antandre Bhagavantan kelsa idu. Not self-centered, and very calm, very peaceful, because they don't expect anything. They only concentrate on my duty, responsibility. What I'm supposed to do, I will do. When I'm doing my responsibility, what happens is, ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆದ್ರೆ it's okay. ನನ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಆ ಕೆಲ್ಸದ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೂ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. I will give my best. Whatever happens, happens. If there is some imperfection, it's okay. No problem. It is his work and dedicating to him. So that is sattvic action. Rajasic action is when you are doing it with ego. ನಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ದೆ, ನಾನ್ ಇಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡ್ದೆ, because I did this, ನಾನ್ ಇಷ್ಟು ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಮೇಲ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ. Because I have taught my children have grown so big. So they are so successful. Everything attributing to self with ego. All right. And these people know in Sattvic, whatever you do, it's effortless. Effortless andre easily it happens. You know, it's just easy. They are cool, they are calm, they're not stressed. Rajasic people, because of over expectations, and if the expectations are not fulfilled, they become highly emotional. there is greed, there is pain also. And therefore they become stressed, and they feel they're putting lot, they have to put rather, to get an end result, they have to put lot of effort, because they want hinge ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು. Perfectionist attached to the results, attached to the outcome. It has to be, having an ambition and goal oriented is not wrong, but attachment to that goal, Krishna says, don't do. Put your efforts in the concentrate on the efforts, not on the alle hange hange hange, because it's not in our hands. It may or may not turn the way we want, it may or may not turn. Of course we have to give 100%. So that is rajasic action. Tamasika antandre act without knowing the consequences. Just you keep doing the action impulsively without knowing the consequences. Generally they may result in loss of wealth. Iga, I want to start a business, I will put so much of money without planning properly, without knowing the pros and cons of that. ಯಾವ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ, ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಬಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ನೋ ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡೋದು, ದುಡ್ಡು ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡೋದು. ಮೆನಿ ಪೀಪಲ್ ವಿ ಸಿ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್. In that process they may cause loss, it may result in loss of wealth, poverty, it may injure others also. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಂಗೆ ತಿಳಿದದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹರ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬ್ ದ ಎಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್, ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬ್ ದ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ, ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಡೆಡ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ, ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬ್ ದ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್. ನೋ, ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಾದರ್ಡ್. So it goes beyond his ability also. He overestimates his ability. ನಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡೋಷ್ಟು ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿನೂ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಟೋಟಲಿ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಮೋಹ, with in delusional. They are not ignorant about everything. So these are the three categories Bhagavad Gita describes the type of action. So that is what exactly the Bhagavad Purana says, that when the jiva performs this kind of action, these are the three categories, and why they do like that we'll see in future, ahead of this. So when they perform these are the three categories, jiva becomes, even sattvic also, it becomes attached. It's likely to become attached to the sattvika. It may become attached to sattvika type of action, or rajasic or tamasic. So avaga, but however, if a person goes in the sattvic mode, then he will evolve himself, or is born in next janma into another intelligent, pure people, highly holy people. He will be born, or he may reach um, the Devaloka, they say, no? So his future will become like that. If he is Rajasika, then he will have challenges. He will have only challenges. Yaru Satvik. Rajasika idre, his life becomes full of sorrow and suffering. Suffering ತುಂಬಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಕಷ್ಟಗಳು ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಕಷ್ಟ ದುಃಖ, ಕಷ್ಟ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಕಷ್ಟ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸವಾಲು, ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್. ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ನಿರ್ಭಯಾನಂದ್ one speech says, ಸಾತ್ವಿಕ ಮಂದಿಗೂ ಕಷ್ಟಗಳು ಇರ್ತದಂತೆ, but they know how to solve, they know how to handle, they know how to walk through that. But Rajasic people become too emotional, too disturbed, too anxious. They know the problem. Sorry, I have a disturbance. One error ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. I'll just take a break for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Sorry, I had some urgent thing. Okay. So we were talking about, so Narada is continuing with Prachina Barhi, because Prachina Barhi doesn't know. Andre, these people are all very good in performing rituals, but they're unaware. So he says Jiva goes and performs, gets attached to these. You can link now. Prachina Barhi is attached to those rituals without understanding what he's doing. Sumne swaha, 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 ankondo, calling the devatas and doing. That karma has no value without understanding, without offering. So he says, so when you perform these kind of actions, then depending on whatever types, generally he's saying, generalize ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ನಾರದ್ರು. So if you do, depending on your actions, you will be born in a good family, or you may be born in a family uh, which is into only worldly affairs, rajasika actions idre, or you may be born into Bhagavad Gita says mudha, that means dumb-witted, unintelligent, those who perform actions which are of no use to the society. You may be born in those families. Or also they says the Bhagavad says you may be born as Deva or man or even animal. See, if you do not use the things which are given to this body, what are the things? Eyes are given, nose is given, mouth is given, ears are given, hands are given, legs are given. If you utilize them in a proper way for sattvic actions and in the right way, if you don't do it, then if you are only eating, drinking, having physical comforts, sexual life, that's all, then the same thing is done by animals. So the law of karma says if your interests are only in these lower things, then you better be animal, because you want to do that. No, so whatever you desire, whatever you are attached to, you will take birth in that, in the same species. You may be born in family which is animal like, that means which doesn't involve any of these higher things, or they are not concerned about anything but selfishness and very very ignorant, ಒಂಥರ ಆಳಸಿ, without, you can make out totally zero involvement in any higher things. Or you may be born as an animal, because animal does only that, ಉಣ್ಣೋದು ತಿನ್ನುವುದು sex ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. That's all you can do. You have no future. So Narada describes how, what actions, how it will lead to these kind of things. So he says all this is because Jiva is ignorant. Because of ignorance, andre maya, they have not used, we know that it's maya, we become attached to these. So how can we get saved from this? It's only through devotion. Kavita was asking what is a shortcut to break the maya. She asked a very beautiful question last Bhagavad Gita. What's the shortcut to break? Because of maya only. Gunas are gunashraye gunamaye. ನಾರಾಯಣ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಸರ್ವಮಂಗಲ ಮಾಂಗಲ್ಯ ಶಿವೇ ಸರ್ವಾರ್ಥ ಸಾಧಿಕೆ ಶರಣ್ಯೇ ತ್ರ್ಯಂಬಕೆ ದೇವಿ ನಾರಾಯಣಿ ನಮೋಸ್ತುತೆ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಸ್ಥಿತಿ ವಿನಾಶಾನ ಶಕ್ತಿಭೂತೆ ಸನಾತನೆ ಗುಣಾಶ್ರಯ ಗುಣಮಯ ನಾರಾಯಣಿ ನಮೋಸ್ತುತೆ. ಗುಣಾಶ್ರಯ, she supports all these gunas, prakriti, maya, and that is nothing but, maya is nothing but ignorance. So how do we break that? So we by devotion. Devotion alone, he says, when you develop devotion, that brings detachment. Detachment means renunciation, and that gives the knowledge. Devotion ಇಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಮತ್ತು ವೈರಾಗ್ಯ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಭಕ್ತಿಯಿಂದ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಮತ್ತು ವೈರಾಗ್ಯ. And these three, the triad of ಜ್ಞಾನ bhakti vairagya, they go hand in hand. Because we do not have this detachment, renunciation is detachment, we don't have that, we are too much clinging to our own likes and dislikes. That is only guna. Whatever you are, sattvic, rasic, tamil, whichever category you belong to, our likes and dislike, we are so much clinging to that. So that should not be there. Devotion alone, he says, how devotion alone you can, the jiva can understand only through devotion. Only through devotion, the knowledge will come and the detachment will come. Because when we devote, we get attached to God, so we get detached from the rest of the things, because our likes and dislikes, everything is him only. Hang bartade. And devotion is cultivated. How do we cultivate that? In the first chapter of Bhagavad, in here visit to the holy places, company of holy people. Here also Narada brings the same thing. Just be in the company of holy people, listen to their talks, they sing the glories of God. Listen to that. So all the scriptures and all the great leaders, no, spiritual gurus, they always say it is him. When you consider that supreme being as our supreme goal of life, whether this life, next life, what num direction should be towards that devotion, then only we become detached to all the other gunas. And then maya, that ignorance, maya is nothing but Durga, in the form of Durga. She will give the way and she will allow us to reach the divine qualities. So he says, if a person is involved completely in devotion, then all this, they are not affected by hunger, they are not affected by thirst, fear, sorrow, or infatuation. Andre attraction, physical attraction. Kama, Kanchana, ಯಾವುದು ಅವ್ರ ತಟ್ಟಲ್ಲ, because devotion will take over. They will be obsessed with that devotion. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬರೀ devotion ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, you must become delighted to see God. That is true bhakti. So ಈ ತರ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ, then he says, see, even Manu or Brahma or all your people and Marichi, Atri, Pulastya, all these great rishis, including me, we have seen Vishnu, but we don't know him. We don't know him. So this great devotion to him, he only graces and gives you the true knowledge about his identity, about him, like how we saw Vishwarupa. So he will reveal to you what he is. And that. So you have to be very, very devoted, and doing these Vedic rituals without knowing. That also has emphasized Narada in the previous chapter. He says, do that. I'm not against it, but you should know what it is. And only doing this is not enough. You must have hunger for knowledge. You must have hunger to see him, understand his creation, and then you should be detached to the worldly affairs, and that is the only way. So saying, Narada continues with another example of a deer. So you should understand that. And he says, Sri Hari is the soul of all the jivas. In every jiva, we have Jivatman. What is that Jivatman? Jivatman is nothing but the Paramatma, who's trapped in these gunas, trapped in the subtle, which mind or body, ahankara, buddhi, everything is around, which is masking the expression of Jivatma. Because the free will, the Jiva always wants to go outside. Atma is enjoying, it is just sitting observing. But this gunas and all will start, I mean, the Jiva per se, it involves in all that. So, Narada gives another example. He says, the human life, most of us, what we do is like a deer. A deer is humming and going along with its female partner, enjoying the company, physical and mental company, and it has children. It's enjoying luxuriously, not realizing that there is a wolf ahead and there is a hunter behind. So this Narada compares to a human life where we are all immersed in our day-to-day activities so much, with so much of attachment, believing that this only is a real, illusory fact. Is a nija, you know? Really, nija, it's not a false thing. We have our family, we have our children, we have a response. That's fine. But getting immersed in that, not being aware of our true goal, our true purpose of this human life, that is compared. Ahead is wolf andreno, time. Every minute, the time is engulfing us ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ನಾರದ್ರು. The time is eating you, isn't it? Every minute it is taking. Every minute it is taking us away from the, I mean, it is taking us towards the death, towards this human. We don't know in future what are we going to be born as. This is a great, precious human life. We are not realizing, we are enjoying. TV ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಇದ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, time waste ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು. So even if we are working, we should offer it to God. That becomes a spiritual practice. But we are not aware, just like the deer. Time is eating us. And what is that hunter who's coming behind us? It is a death. Death is chasing us. Anytime, any moment, we can just like a drop of a hat, we may be dropped down. We may collapse. Next minute, I may not be there. I'm speaking to you. Next minute, I don't know whether I will be alive or I will not be there. So that is the death which is chasing us. And time is engulfing us. Death is pushing, time is pulling. So that he says, so ಪುರಂದರದಾಸರದ ಒಂದು ಇದಿದೆ, ಮಾನವ ಜನ್ಮ ದೊಡ್ಡದು, ಇದನ್ನು ಏನದು ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಹುಚ್ಚಪ್ಪಗಳಿರ. ಸೊ ಇದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಜನ್ಮ ಇದು. ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಕಮ್, ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೀನ್ 84 lakh ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್. ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ 84 ಲಕ್ಷ ಅದರಿಂದ ಪಾರಾಗಿ ಬಂದು ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಇವಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗಿ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕಮ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ Narada says, you are not supposed to waste that. Do not get immersed in this thing. So Vedic rituals are okay, but understand why you are doing. Whatever you offer, it should reach the Parabrahman. He is the creator. ಈ ತರ ನೀನು ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡು ಅಂತ Narada tells. Prachina Barhi. Prachetas people are his children, they are doing tapas. So Prachina Barhi, now he says, I have understood completely, Narada, I have understood completely. But it is difficult to understand what happens, whatever I am doing now, how it is recognized in the next birth, because I'm going to die. You are telling I will take rebirth, because he doesn't know. Bhagavad Gita ino bandilla ali. Do you think the same I'm going to be reborn? Anta keltane yaru Prachina Barhi. So Narada says, yes, what you are doing in this birth is going to be carried in the next birth, because when you live, when you are in this body, whatever you think, whatever you see, and how you react, whatever you see, hear, smell, taste with indriyas or sense organs, and the reaction which is placed in the mind, and likes and dislike repeatedly, that gets imprinted in your buddhi and subconscious mind, and all that gives a feeling of me and mine. Nanu nannadu anno ahankara. Indriya, manassu, buddhi, ahankara, all this forms what is called Sukshma Sharira or Linga Sharira. And this very beautifully he has told, actually, this Sukshma Sharira or Linga Sharira, what happens is that with the soul or the Jivatman, that when you die, it goes and occupies the another realm, Pitruloka or whatever, another realm. It is your gross body will die. So this carries everything. That means our Indriyas are also there in a subtle form. That means our eyes may not be this physical eyes, but our vision is there. That's what it says. That vision is there. Tanmatras are there. Tanmatras means vision, smell, objects of smells, like that. Tanmatra in a very subtle form. That means maybe we are able to see, we are able to breathe without this body. As we float in the air after we leave this body, everything is there except this body. That means we cannot act. Our hands will not perform. Karmendriya illa. Hands illa, legs illa, but jnanendriyagal iruttade. And you will feel, you will emote, and you will carry those reactions, and therefore that carries. And then the same thing, whatever desires you have, the law of karma will put you into another body. In due course of time, you will take birth according to your karma. So whatever you are talking, thinking, good and bad, will get carried to the further. Desires will go, karma will go. Both it will carry, desires and karma. So ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಈ ಲಿಂಗ ಶರೀರ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಹಸ್ ಗಾಟ್ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ಶರೀರ, ಕಾರ್ಯ ಕಾರಣ ಶರೀರ. ಕಾರಣ ಶರೀರ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕರ್ಮ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದ ಬ್ಯಾಗೇಜ್, ದ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್. ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ಶರೀರ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಲ್ ದೋಸ್ ಮೈಂಡು, ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಇಂಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ಸ್, ನೀನೇನೋ ನೋಡಿರ್ತೀಯ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಜನ್ಮದಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಫರ್ದರ್, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಹೌ there is rebirth and there is no death for there is no death for the soul, as well as there is no death for the soul as well as your linga sharira. Bari soul hogalla, it goes with your package. So beautifully it has been designed. That is why man is the maker of his own destiny, says Swami Vivekananda. Man is the maker of his own destiny. That destiny doesn't end in this life. It gets carried to the lives to come. Lives to come. That destiny is what? The journey of the soul. So we must be so subtle in our thinking that even our thoughts will carry a baggage. Thoughts also has a karmic connect, karmic bondage. ಈಗ ನಾವು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಯಾರಿಗೋ ಒಬ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಅನ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. ವಿ ಮೇ ನಾಟ್ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಆರ್ ಕ್ರಿಟಿಸೈಸ್ ಆರ್ ಟಾಕ್ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್. ಬಟ್ ಇಫ್ ಅವರ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೇಸ್ that this lady is horrible, she should not have this, ಅಂತ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ನಾವು ಶಾಪ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ, that becomes a bad karma. So we have to be very, very cautious and aware, and that comes through devotion. He is giving such a easy path for us. Easy path, but not easy also. It becomes easy if you have God's grace and lot of effort. Last Bhagavad Gita ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ, ತುಳಸಿದಾಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಂತೆ, ನಾನು ಬರೀ ಗೋಪಾಲ ಕೃಷ್ಣ 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 ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಯಾವಾಗ ತುಳಸಿ ತುಳಸಿ ಐ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಕಮ್ ಟು ಯು ಅಂದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಬರೋದು. Andre, to please God, we'll have to do so many things. What are the characteristics of a devotee? Krishna says, no, Adveshta, Sarvabhutana, Maitra, Karuna Evacha. It is not only that devotion, it's our behavior also. ಇವೆರಡು ಸೇರಿದಾಗ ಸಾತ್ವಿಕತೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಜಪಮಣಿ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೊರಗೆ ಬಂದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಬೈಕೊಂಡು ಕೂಡೋದು, ಡಿಸಾನೆಸ್ಟ್, ಕರಪ್ಷನ್. Not, it's not done. I will give an example. Actually, I don't know, my mother used to not like me criticizing like this, but it is a live example. See, recently there was one incident which happened in our close circle. So one person he criticized somebody, and he criticized, there was some argument. So somebody wrote, you are not fit to be here anta eno baradru. ಅವರು ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರು ಅದನ್ನ. ಆ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರು. ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಸಂಬಡಿ ರೋಟ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಲಾಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಮೆಂಟ್, ಆಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಟ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಡಿಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ದ. ಅವ್ರು ಬಿಟ್ಟ ಮೇಲೆ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇವರು, ವಿದೌಟ್ ಹಿಸ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್. ಹಿ ಡಿಡ್ ನೋ ದಟ್ ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ದ ಗ್ರೂಪ್. ಸೊ ಹಿ ರೋಟ್ ಇಟ್, and the other person, no, somebody who was in the group has read that to a person who left the group. Chadi, no, in ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹಿಂಗ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. And the person who told, no, he's a great, supposed to be a great devotee. ಇವಾಗ ನಾನು ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, we will have such examples around. We should not be, when you call yourself Krishna Bhakta, Vishnu Bhakta, what is that you are doing? You are telling Chadi. And that person got so upset, Papa. There was no need for you to tell, no? Satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat. Bruyat na sada apriyam. It is apriya. It may be truth. Why you had to tell? It disturbed, it spoiled that. First of all, the person who wrote also is that he should not have done that. He wrote it after the person had already left. So ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೋದಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಇದನ್ನ ಓದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇವ್ರು ನಿಮ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹಿಂಗ್ ಹೇಳಂತ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಕರೆದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜಗಳ ಹುಟ್ಟಿಸಿ, ಇದು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿವೋಷನ್ ಇದು? So Krishna is against these. Are maybe very small matters, but we must be very cautious when we do such small. Another person was there. My mother-in-law used to tell, why do you call him a philosopher? He's not a philosopher. Actually, I got very angry. I said, no, don't spoil. I have a good image of that person. Later I came to know that person was never regular in his work, always, putting that on somebody, and missing his allotted responsibilities in his profession, and going and watching movies, and then exploiting his juniors, right? And calling himself a big spiritual philosopher. This is total cross. Your behavior should define who you are. Otherwise, it's a disgrace for spirituality only. Why do you want to bring disgrace to spirituality? Krishna never says that, and he never likes. ನೀನು ಇದು ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಜಪ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಗಾಯತ್ರಿ ಮಂತ್ರ ಅಂತೀನಿ, ಅದು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬರ್ಲಿ. First, you show your behavior in the society. These are all very subtle things. We may think, so what? And no, these are all imprints. It goes in your linga sharira, and when you take your birth, or you before dying also, in the same birth, you may see the repercussions, the actions, whatever you have done. Adrad reaction barbodu, ee janmadalle barbodu. Swami Shivananda used to tell, modern Kali Yugadalli, you will face the results in this birth only. His theory, Shivananda, Divine Life Society, and in his book he says, so we never know. So linga sharira is a very subtle thing in our body, which is recording, like what we have this, we are recording this speech also, and yaudadu genie is a recording system in this Google Meet what we are having. No, it records everything. You see, I can send you the printout, transcription it's called. So like that, linga sharira is transcribing everything. Transcription, yalla ಒಂದೊಂದು ವಿಚಾರನೋ. That's why we must never assume that nobody is watching us. No, there is something which is recording each and every thought of ours, leave alone actions, so words antu ide ide. So he says linga sharira carries everything from here, and that is how it takes. So ishtella ಹೇಳಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ, then he talks about dreams. To give this example, he says, in the dream, we see ourselves going here and there, don't we see? But we are sleeping. What is that which is going there? That is your linga sharira. Very beautifully, psychology ಓದಿದವರಿಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, because there's lot of research done on what do the dreams mean to us ಅಂತ. According to Narada, the linga sharira, the projections in dreams are our past impressions only. Somewhere in some time of your past birth or childhood, this birth or previous birth, that Linga Sharira is a continuity. So those impressions only will be seen in dreams. And in dreams, you will visualize your body is there, somebody is there, somebody is there. Body is here only, but you visualize. That is nothing but Linga Sharira Anta. This is how, uh, just like the dreams, which are visualizing by way of Linga Sharira, similarly, after death, the same thing will carry forward. The Linga Sharira will start experiencing as though it has got a body or something, but it has those experiences. It will carry all the impressions until it finds another. Nothing will, we cannot do anything there. It will only be remembering what it has done. Maybe all the past activities, but it cannot do anything. So whatever it has to do, it will do. Its desires are fulfilled only when it takes the next birth. Then he says that. So he talks about Linga Sharira, which is effect of three gunas, is constituted. What all does it contain? 11 indriyas. Sorry, karmendriya is also there. He says 11 indriyas. 11 andre 5 jnanendriya, 5 karmendriya. 5 ಜ್ಞಾನೇಂದ್ರಿಯ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕಣ್ಣು, ಮೂಗು, ಕಿವಿ, ನಾಲಿಗೆ, ಚರ್ಮ. Eyes, the nostrils, and taste, and ears, and the skin sensation. So these 5 sense organs, 5 karmendriyas are hands, legs, speech, and anus, and the genitals. So these indriyas and mind, 11th one is the mind, and 5 tanmatras. Tanmatras means objects of these sense organs. So he says 11 indriyas, 5 tanmatras. All these, and plus of course buddhi and ahankara, all these go into the Linga Sharira. And with this, it is the conjunction with this Linga Sharira that the Jiva acquires or abandons the gross bodies. Jiva means Jivatma with Linga Sharira, it abandons and then it goes to another. So he says, as long as this Linga Sharira has that strong attachment, gunas, it will take birth, it will suffer. So adನ್ನು ಬಿಡಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ the only thing is you have to have devotion. Bhakti is the only way. Bhagavad Puranadalli Bhakti is the main this one ante. So ishtella ಮಾಡಿ ನಾರದರು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. Then Prachina Barhi is very, very thankful to him, and that ends there. ಈ ಕಡೆ Prachetas, our children of those 10 children of, this is again little story based ಬರ್ತದೆ ಮತ್ತೆ. So Prachetas, those 10 children, no, they are doing this tapascharya for 10,000 years, immersed in water, it seems, in the ocean, dipped within the water they were doing. Okay, then they were submerged, and at the end of 10,000 years, Vishnu feels now it's enough. Let them come out. They have to expand the progeny. 10,000 years. So probably this tapascharya and this austerities were done because they had to bring a good breed further, isn't it? With time, no? What happens is with time, again and again, either Vishnu comes as a avatara purusha or incarnate, or he makes the people so competent with austerities. Time and again, you see. 10,000 years. For that matter, Kashyapa Muni, Kapila, all these people, 10,000 years they have done with tapascharya. So now he comes as Shuddha Sattvanta Vishnu Avatar, or Munde Bandi Epusthanar. Then he comes on Garuda, exactly the description. So he comes on Garuda and he is very graceful with all the jewelries, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, avannella hidkondu brilliant agi. And with munis and devas, all attendants, musical hymns, stotras, a wonderful scenery it is. Andre, when you perform such strong austerities, Krishna cannot resist himself from coming. They say these were all there. In Kali Yuga, it is simpler, it seems, for you and I. Chanting, bhajansu, kelodu, these will attract him. I mean, there are very easier path, they say. In Kali Yuga, namasmarane, japa, dhyana, doing good deeds, what we told, no? Not thinking bad about others. Bhagavad Gita follow madidre. Krishna descends. He doesn't wait for 10,000 years of tapas as these people have done. It's easier for us to do. So you ಬಂದು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಭಗವಂತ ಅವರಿಗೆ he says, ನೀವು ರುದ್ರಗೀತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, they keep chanting ರುದ್ರಗೀತ all through. So that Rudra Gita, now see, there is no conflict between Shiva and Vishnu. He says, I'm pleased because I've come, because I'm happy and I'm pleased with your Rudra Gita. You have been doing that in the morning and evening with concentration of mind. So I will bless you. Now you have to go back to the world. And very interestingly, ಒಬ್ಬ ಋಷಿ ಇದ್ದಂತೆ, ಕಾಂಡು ಅಂತ ಋಷಿ. He had married a Apsara woman. Apsareರು ದೇವತಾ ಲೋಕದಿಂದ, they used to just come to the earth and do some, roam around here and there. So he got attracted, Rishi Kandu gets attracted to Pramalocha. And then he has got a daughter called Kamala Lochana. Kamaladanta Kannugalu. Kamala Lochana. So this Apsara gets this daughter. But Apsaras cannot stay on this earth, no? So she abandons that daughter and she goes to the heaven. Now this daughter is brought up by tree deities, tree, Gidagalu, vegetation, god of vegetation is Soma, it seems. So the Soma, king of vegetation, king of trees, what he does is he would have given that infant his finger to adu bayolage itkondu suck marta. It's a ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ನೆಕ್ಟರ್, ಅಮೃತ, ಅದನ್ನ ಚಿಪ್ಕೋತ್ ಕೂತಿರ್ತದೆ ಅದ್ ಮಗು, ಹಂಗೆ ಬೆಳೀತದೆ ಅಂತ. ಅದು ಸೋಮ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ unusual stories, but we have to believe because it's given in Bhagavad Purana. So that Rishi, because they also have that power, he gets that child, but he also goes in one direction, Apsara also goes. Soma protects her. Because these people know they are born to king rishis antandre, they have very good genes which are going to generate very good progeny. So the universe conspires to protect them, so they protect them. And then what Vishnu is telling, you will marry, all 10 of you will marry that lady, just like Draupadi married Pandavas, no? And you will not feel that you are different. All of you will have a common, somewhat you will feel, if one enjoys, others also will enjoy. Atra, you will have a common feeling, all of you, and she'll be the only wife to you anta heli. You have to get back to the world as householders. And he gives one very interesting statement. So home is not a prison even for those who have entered householders life. Andre spirituality, understanding God, does not necessarily mean that a person has to abandon his house and live in a forest. No, even a householder, as long as he is not attached too much and he spends his time in devoting his life to me. Andre, when you have a wife, children and all, how do we devote, how do we spiritualize our day-to-day life? If anybody can answer this, I'll be very happy. Bhagavad Gita, we have been talking about this. If we are not able to do puja, if we are not able to do meditation, but still we can be in that, I told you, nivritti in pravritti. Nivritti means getting that highest contemplation in our activities. How can we convert our activities into that meditation? And we also told in the previous session that work is meditation of the body. Some Spanish mystic has told, it seems. Work is meditation of the body. Body also can meditate, not only the mind. How? By work. But what we should do? Anybody? How can we spiritualize? Though we are doing the same work, we may be, see, as a householder, let's take a man, young man. He will go dharma, artha, kama. In spite of that, he can go towards moksha. How? Anybody? How can we do?
He can
Anybody?
surrender.
Yes, very good. Surrender. Yes, perfect. Whatever you do, you surrender. Mat karma paramo bhava. Mat karma. Madarthamapi karmani. Kurvan siddhima vapsasi. So surrender. So remember him all through. So Krishna says, Vishnu says, let him spend time whenever he gets hearing about my work, listening, and dedicate. They will never be subject to infatuation, depression, or elation. Anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, depression or elation. Na muhyanti, na shochanti, na hrisyanti yatogataha, na vyavruddhaye yajño bahaitat brahmavadivihi, na muhyanti, na shochanti, na hrisyanti yatogataha. Andre, they will not be over elated, they will not be depressed, they will not be subject to infatuation. All the mental problems what we have today, they have an easy solution, and that is nothing but bhakti or devotion. And surrender, exactly what Indira said, the surrender. How much it takes for us to surrender? Youngsters also should follow this, just surrender. No, there is some, accept, I think majority will know there is some supreme being, there's some consciousness. Surrender that work to him. So that takes away ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, then he says, ask some boon anta. So these prachetas says, what boon shall we ask? Just as a honeybee which has settled on a parijata flower, it will not abandon for any other flower, because honeybee loves that parijata flower. So like that, we are so attracted to you, and you have blessed us. You have to, and he talks about, he gives them all the advice on, about same karma, how you have to behave, and how you can, you should lead your life. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಸಿಕ್ಕ ಮೇಲೆ we don't want to ask anything. We don't have anything to ask. As long as we are under your maya, we cannot unite with you. Just see that we always remember you ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, then Vishnu departs. And then what happens is, uh, so Hari, he grants them that boon, and then he leaves. ಅವ್ರು ಹೋದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಇವ್ರು ಆಚೆ ಬಂದು ನೋಡ್ತಾರೆ ಪ್ರಚೇತಸ್. ದೇ ಸಿ ದಟ್ the whole area has grown so many trees ಅಂತ. Trees ಅಂದ್ರೆ so many coming out. They saw whole earth is governed by giant trees. ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾನೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ 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 ಗಿಡ ಮರಗಳು ಅಂತ. They in fact went up to the heavenly realms anta they have described. They got very angry. Even these people are not free from that. So they become so angry. How can Prithvi become like this anta? Then they release fire and air from their mouth to burn those trees, it seems. Just like Rudra, belching forth Kalagni at the time of Pralaya, they say. Rudra, Pralaya time nalli, Kalagni anta tandu ella, everything goes back. So like that, they just release fire and air. So Brahma becomes alert. Then he immediately comes, and then he says, no, 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 you should not do this. Some trees would have already been destroyed. He says these trees are essential, and they were doing this for the benefit of this earth. You are not supposed to get angry. And this daughter, some of the trees will say, you take this daughter of ours. Now, who is this daughter? Vishnu would have told, no, Kamala Lochana, who was brought up by those trees, who was born to that Rishi and that Apsara. They get married to her. And what happens is, then they get married, and then they have a son called Daksha. This Daksha is none other than Daksha Prajapati, who died during when Rudra actually kills him. When Sati actually commits suicide, she goes into fire and immolates herself. You remember Daksha Prajapati. So now he has come again, and because he has to do, he created beings in the Manvantara of Chakshusha. So that's why Daksha was reborn. So that is the future of Prachetas. Now, last chapter, end of Prachetas. What happens is, after ruling the kingdom, the Prachetas remember these 10 sons. They remember the instructions of Vishnu. Then they abandon the family. They tell their wife to take care of their son. They have a son, and then they go to, they do that Brahma Yajna. Okay, Brahma Yajna, which helps everyone to see. That means Samadhi Sthiti bartade avrige, baro hange ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. They master all that, and then they also learn to concentrate on Brahman and all. Narada, everybody comes, and then at the end, Narada comes again to see them. He welcomes them, and then Narada gives them a piece of, again, advice on bhakti. And then, because they have come almost to the final stage, there are some 3 or 4 useful points. We mentioned that, and that completes this today's session. So Narada says about bhakti again. Bhagavad is full of devotion. We so far discussed how bhakti helps us to get rid of attachment to our own gunas. More and more bhaktis will bring detachment, and also it will give us the knowledge about what? About the Supreme Being, about realization about Supreme Being. We know he has 4 arms, personal form, andre Saguna Rupa ant heltivi adike. Actually, it is Nirakara Nirguna. Consciousness doesn't have any form. But to reach that realization, we should start with the worship of an idol and imagine, conceptualize, and then go. So Narada says, what is the use of these three forms? Iga prachetas, you are born in noble family, kshatriya avaga, kshatriya or brahmana, and then you undergo upanayana, that is, you are given mantra diksha. You are born in a noble family, you are given upanayana, and you are initiated into spiritual rites, rituals. There is no use unless you have to use, uh, I mean, even scriptures are of no use. What is the use of intelligence? What is the use of body? Unless you actually realize and devote yourself to the God. You may be born in noble family. You may be have done upanayana. ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಂದಿ ಉಪನಯನ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋರು? How many are devotees? 1%, Krishna says. Being born in a higher family of Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, whatever, but how many of them really commit themselves to devotion? Very few people. How many of them show good behavior, as I said just now? Very few. 1% ಗಿಂತ ಕಮ್ಮಿ. ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ. They take it as a birthright. Being born in a noble family is not our birthright. We have been blessed to be in a noble family. We are blessed to have learned some mantras. We are all blessed to listen to this one. But unless we utilize that in understanding, there is no use. Just as when you water the root of a tree, then its trunks, branches, ella banbirtadalla, everything gets watered. They receive from the root. Likewise, when you devote, when you worship, it is as good as worshipping all the souls, because God lives in all the souls. This is another point he says. Third thing he says is, when the sun, when due to scorching heat, the water, what happens is, we know water cycle, isn't it? The water becomes a vapor, becomes the clouds, and again it rains. So that's how water cycle is completed. So also this whole thing is a cycle. We are not the doer. So he, just like that, all the beings are born on this earth and go back to earth. And all this creation comes from Hari and goes back to Hari. So we unnecessarily claim that we are doing this, we are doing that. And one beautiful story, small example they gave today. Yeah, though, Vivekavani. So there's a man who he was watering the garden, and then suddenly one crow starts. So the crow comes there, and then he uh, kills that crow. So somehow he kills that crow, and then Papa Devru, a sin comes there. He says, "You have committed a sin. You have got wrong, bad karma." So he says, how can I do? Hands ಅಲ್ಲಿ Indra idane. Indra devata is Abhimani devata, no, for the hand. So Indra has committed a sin. I did not do. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಎಸ್ಕೇಪ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹಿಂಗ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬಹುದು ಅಂತ. ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ದ ಡೂವರ್, ನೋ, ಐ ಡಿಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕಮಿಟ್ ದ ಸಿನ್. So that Papa went to Indra. He said, you have committed. So Indra says, wait. Indra comes down, it seems. Then he asked the man, Acha, such a beautiful garden you have done. Who did this garden? ನಾನೇ ಮಾಡಿದೀನಿ ಅಂತಾನಂತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗುಡ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಬಂದಾಗ, ನಾನು, ಹೂ ಬ್ರಾಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ? ಐ ಪುಟ್ ದ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಯೂರ್, ಐ ವಾಟರ್ ದೆಮ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಡೇ, ಅಂಡ್ ಐ ಟೇಕ್ ಸಚ್ ಗುಡ್ ಕೇರ್, ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಕಮ್. Who killed the crow? ಅವಾಗ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ಅವನಿಗೆ. So when we are doing good things, we claim that success for us. When bad thing, ನಾನೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿ, ಅಯ್ಯೋ ದೇವ್ರ ಕೈಲಿದೆ ಎಲ್ಲ, ಹಿಂಗ, this is not the way. We are an instrument, and we are an instrument everywhere. Do not claim for the good things, success, and your wealth, the prosperity. No, even everything is done by him. Good and bad, erdu surrender. Indira used that word very rightly. So ಈ ತರ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. So he says, Narada says, meditate on him. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಚೇತಸ್ ಅವರು ಕೊನೆಯ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ದೇ ಸೇ, we meditated, we for 10,000 years we did Rudra Gita, but we came to this world, we ruled this world. In between we have acquired some guna here, there, something has come. So tell us what to do. Andaga Narada keeps telling, so meditate on him, meditate on your soul, and the heart of a devotee which is cleansed of all the desires, heart of a devotee which has cleansed of all desires through continuous and longing meditation, that is never deprived of his presence. He will definitely make an entry, and you will see you will enjoy his bliss. Actually, devotion ಯಾವಾಗ highest state ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, we must develop a delight in our activities. ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, you should enjoy, you should feel that longing. ಯಾವಾಗ ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿ, ಯಾವಾಗ ಮೆಡಿಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿ, when will I go to temple, when will I read? I think people who are attending the sessions or watching on YouTube, you have made it a habit. That is such a nice grace of God, I should say. your effort, my effort, and grace of God. Grace of God is there, but effort is also there. Let us pat our back also, as told by Krishna. So when you enjoy that, no, listening, when we enjoy telling or listening, both, so both of us are having delight in listening, that the sets in the devotion along. And but this should be continuous consistent. Yakandre Maya is all set to pull us down. ಅದು ಪಾಯ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಪವರ್ಫುಲ್ ವೆಪನ್. ಅದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಎಳಿತದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಕಾಶಿಯಸ್ಲಿ, ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ಲಿ, ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ಲಿ we should be there, and every day some spiritual practice. So two things are told by um, um, Bhagavad Puranics. Particularly Narada only, he keeps coming. Our Papa is such a great savior for us. Narada Bhakti Sutra antu bartade. So beautifully he says, dedicated actions and spiritual practice. Every day, as she said, surrender. ಎದ್ದು ಕೂಡಲೇ surrender. ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ surrender. Throughout 4 to 5 times in a day, as the namaz is done. Indira will not like if I use, but still, namaz is also to the supreme, and all gods are safe in the true sense. So repeatedly, because mind keeps going down, no? Keep repeatedly, keep doing it, and with that, it should be there. Because during Navaratri, no, first time I heard complete Devi Mahatmya on the YouTube. I told you, I think Ananta Krishna or Bahada. I shared one of those 9. Now also you can listen. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲಿ ಹೌ ಶಿ ದುರ್ಗಾ ಸಪ್ತಶತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬರನ್ನ ಕೊಲ್ತಾಳೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾರೋ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಮತ್ ಕೊಲ್ತಾಳೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ದೇ ಕೀಪ್ ಆನ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್, ದೋಸ್ ಅಸುರಾಸ್. They are also very powerful, very, very powerful. To kill them, this holy mother, Durga, gets the essence from all Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, Devatas. ಎಲ್ಲರೊಳಗಿನ ಸತ್ವ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅವಳು ಚಾಮುಂಡಿ ಆಗ್ತಾಳೆ. ಎಲ್ರದು she becomes so powerful. ಎಲ್ರದು ತಗೊಳ್ತಾಳೆ, ಇವ್ರದು ಅವರೊಳು ಇರ್ತದೆ. It's a bidirectional movement of energy. So she becomes so powerful. Everybody gives her weapons. Everybody gives. She had to become so powerful to kill those asuras. So we assume that asuras are nobody before God. Satvikatege shakti ashton irudilla. Actually, you have to bring that Durga. Idu tandu nam willpower is too strong, because these negativism which is there in our mind, no, which has come from samskars and which are there in the environment, they are so strong. For some time we may pray, meditate, and sing bhajans and be elevated. Next moment it may drop. Again we have to lift us up. Again we have to be aware of that consciousness, which is very powerful. That Durga and this Shiva and Shakti both. That we have to keep doing repeatedly, consistently, to keep ourselves elevated. So that comes only when we practice. Abhyasa yogena tato. Abhyasa. Repeated practice we should do. With that, our mind will settle. But again, settle andre, it is not nitya yukta. As long as this body is there, we must make an effort to do consistently every day. If possible, every hour. If possible, every minute. ಅದು ತಂತಾನೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ಅದು every minute ಅದು ಮಾಡ್ದಂಗೆ his grace will come, that energy will add. So with that, may God grace us just like he has graced these prachetas and others. So we will conclude today's session. Anybody wants to add anything? Yeah, you can be open. We can. Don't hesitate. You can add.